everyone, and welcome to Tiger on the Block, the only podcast that takes collegiate a cappella members and makes them really uncomfortable for 30 minutes. I'm Tony like the tiger, Voss like the water.
And I'm Jessica Block, and my favorite shape is a quadrilateral.
How delightfully unspecific.
Indubitably.
Is there any special quadrilateral you have in mind?
I'm a fan of the rhombus.
Oh, really? Not a turns to camera block?
Cue suspense noise. No! Why would you think that?
I don't know, Jessica Block. Why would I think that?
I could ask you the same thing. In fact, I thought I already did.
Well, I mean, your name's got the word block in it.
Yeah, but that's not a quadrilateral. That's more like 3D, like a cube or a box.
Well, speaking of boxes, who do we have in the studio today?
We have Jukebox from UCLA.
Founded in 2012, Jukebox is a co-ed a cappella group of Jewish Bruins who love to sing.
They often sing at UCLA Hillel and Acapalooza and have done gigs and private parties, as well as many other performances around the Los Angeles area.
We got two members in the studio today, so why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves, who you are and where you're from.
I guess I'll start off. Hi, I'm Lucie. I'm originally from Oakland, California. And I am a member of Jukebox. Officially, my voice part is soprano, and my role in Jukebox is the co-music director / arranger.
And I am Ben. I'm from San Rafael, California, and I'm also a member of Jukebox.
Nice. So our first question for you guys, as many of our loyal listeners know, is the first question we ask any a cappella group that comes on this show, and that is, how did you get into music and a cappella? Just your whole journey through whatever, instruments if you played any, or non-instruments if you didn't play any, to collegiate a cappella.
I can go first. I played a lot of instruments in childhood, but I was never good at any of them. I'm pretty remarkably uncoordinated, so I never got anywhere good with any instrument. I played guitar, saxophone, clarinet, and they were all just disasters. But in high school, I started doing theater, and that led to musical theater, which led to me realizing that I like to sing a lot. So I was in a vocal group in high school, and then when I got to college, I knew I wanted to join an a cappella group, so that is kind of how I got here.
I have kind of the opposite story, which is, I think, kind of funny, is that I started off in really, like, not competitive, but, like, focused classical music. I was in what's called the San Francisco Girls Chorus, which is kind of like a, like, ooh type of choir in the San Francisco Bay Area, for, like, from, like, first grade to, like, third or fourth grade, which was super fun. I was like, I want to be like those girls with the pretty voices. And after a while, I kind of started to realize that I like classical music, but like classical vocal wasn't where I wanted to like keep focusing. I ended up going to an arts school in Oakland called Oakland School for the Arts, where I was a vocal major in middle school, and then I started learning classical piano like halfway through middle school, and so I transferred into the classical piano program for high school. Kept singing, learned piano, started composing, just kind of did all those things. And we actually had a really competitive a cappella group at my high school. And they went on and would go and like win stuff. And I never joined them because like that was not what I ended up doing in high school. But I was always like, they're so cool. And like pitch work was super cool. Yeah, exactly. Vocal Rush. And they went on the sing off, and that was such a big deal. And actually what's really funny is the person who's in charge of Vocal Rush, she was in the book that inspired Pitch Perfect. And I remember when Pitch Perfect came out, she was like, yeah, that was my a cappella group that inspired the book, that inspired the movie. And I'm like, that's so dope.
Wow.
So, and then I had like friends from high school who joined like Scattertones and like all those like UCLA ones.
Sarah.
So when I came here, Sarah Eisen, who I love her. So many other talented people. Yeah. So I know when I came here, I wanted to somehow get involved with a cappella, but I saw how my college career was moving, that I knew I needed to do something where like it wasn't as competitive, but I still wanted to do something a cappella related, and I ended up finding Jukebox, and I've been in ever since, which has been super awesome.
That's such a cool story. Damn, you guys got that, like those equal and opposite backgrounds happening. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I guess we move on to the next bit, which is why Jukebox in specific? What drew you to the group, and if you can touch a little bit about the group history and what makes Jukebox unique.
I think that I joined Jukebox because I was really looking for a community, because I came from, my high school was really small. My graduating class was 43 kids. So I was looking for a really small community because I needed that in a school of 35,000. And the Hillel was already a community for me where like all the Jewish students can congregate. And that's how I found out about Jukebox as an a cappella group. And it really just seemed perfect. It's small, it's not hyper competitive, and it's just a really great atmosphere that I loved from the first second I was in it. So it really seemed like the clear choice to join a group like that.
I'm in a similar place as Ben, where I was looking, as I said before, for something somewhat chill, but still in the a cappella world. And I remember going to Hillel as someone who has a Jewish background but isn't very religious and was actually at first very nervous to do anything with Hillel. I was like, they're going to know I'm a fake Jew and they're going to be like, this person can't join or something like that. And I think it was at the Enormous Activities Fair, RIP, that like my freshman year where like I went, and actually one of our members, Gali Shalev, was there, and I was at the Hillel like booth, and I told her I was a music major, and she was like, oh, like, have you heard of Jukebox? And I was like, no, I haven't. And I ended up connecting with the president, Jess, who's a music major, trumpet major, and it kind of just went from there. Like, I learned about them. They're super chill. What's really great also about Jukebox is that it was founded in 2012, but I think it took a slight hiatus between like 2013 and 2018, which is when I joined, where that summer the like people who had like reestablished it, they all went like on a trip together to Israel, and over that trip like all these like music loving people came together and they were like, you know, we're gonna restart Jukebox. Like it was one graduating senior who had graduated right before I came, and they, along with her, like brought it back into the scene. I think they performed at like a couple Shabbats and like made people like, oh yeah, this exists, like this is a thing. And so I think that really ties back into the community aspect, that it was really just a group of friends who love music worked to make this a thing, and that sense has continued throughout, where it's just people who like each other and like music get together and have a good time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering because my freshman year, when I was looking at all the a cappella groups, I didn't see Jukebox, and that's because it just wasn't there my freshman year. It came back the year after. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Jukebox performing around like 2018 and 2019, I was like, are they new? Where are they from? But now I see it's like, you guys were around, and then you weren't, and now you're back, and you guys are awesome. So that's really cool that you guys are involved in this group that's like back and better than ever. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. It's like the revival tour.
Yeah, and I think it was actually just like the end of the 2018, 2019 year that we got like officially recognized as like, I guess, a club or like an organization on campus, which was a big deal. That was like, we were so excited to like, we're legit, we're back. Good times.
It takes like a year, as I think Pitch Please started in like 2016, but wasn't official until 2017, and like that's the year I joined, and I heard from people that like it had existed, but they were really happy to be like actually existing in the eyes of UCLA. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. We love new a cappella groups and old ones that come back. I guess our next question for you guys kind of has to do with what you were talking about with the vibe of the group and how you joined because you wanted an experience that wasn't going to be like all consuming in that sense. As a non-competitive group, so you guys don't do like ICCAs or things like that, what do you do in a normal year? What do you do socially? What do you do musically? Do you have gigs? Just what does your normal year look like? And we can talk about quarantine later, but for now, just the before times, so to speak.
I only joined this year. Last year was my freshman year, so I didn't even get a full normal year. But it was nice. We rehearsed twice a week for 2 to 3 hours. And then we do like gigs every once in a while. But then we have a lot of like social activities and bonding like that. Yeah, Lucy?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit more on like year before then, which again, in a weird way, I'd say it's almost a flip side of the quarantine year, because our fall quarter was very like getting our feet on the ground, and it wasn't really like we were doing anything yet because we had to like establish it. We had at least 4 or 5 new members, I believe, who all needed to like get integrated into the group vibe, including myself. I was like, I don't know what I'm expecting. But we ended up performing at Acapalooza, which was super exciting because I think that was like the group's like first major performance, which was like a big deal because I don't know, because that's also the thing is where a lot of our like members are not music majors / have never really been in a performative music environment. So for a lot of the people in the group, that performance was like the first time they've ever like performed in a situation like that, which I think, like, as someone who's done it a lot, like, I can't even imagine that at this point. I think that's crazy, but also super exciting and also really nerve-wracking. So, like, I'm so proud of that performance. Like, it was a hard one, and we worked really hard to get there. And compared to, again, the very competitive groups, like, we can't compare. It's just, like, that's just our vibe is our vibe, and we were just there to, like, show off and be like, this is the work, and this is what we put in, and we just want to share that with everybody. And I think it was fun to interact with, like, different types of groups in that setting. And then at the end of the 2018-2019 year, my freshman year, we were contacted by a Jewish women's group, I think. They're called Hadassah. And they're this very far-reaching, like, Jewish advocacy, health, like, it's... Dan, do you have a description of it?
It's just like a large nonprofit that does a lot of really good work, and it's run by Jewish women, and it's for Jewish women.
So they reached out to us and actually like brought us to this like really cool house in Redondo Beach, and they like fed us, which was super cool. And we did this like 10-song performance in this like random person's living room, which was kind of a weird space, I will say, because like all of us were like, at least the girls were wearing heels, and it was like a carpeted floor. So I remember the feeling of just like sinking into the carpet, as well as being on the higher voice end. I was like squished against the wall because we did it by voice part. So overall, the weirdest space I think I've ever performed in vocally, but they were such an inviting audience, and it was such a just fun opportunity because we ended up working with them again when Ben joined the group this fall, if he wants to expand more on that performance.
Yeah, that performance was really cool. They were having a gala, sort of, and we were invited to perform. It was like a lunch gala, so we got really good lunch. But it was like a really, really big thing, which was exciting. We got to dress up. They had us dress all in like black and white, and we kind of looked like a chorus and waiters, which was fun. But we got to perform like in a really big hall at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And yeah, it was really cool. And it was the same people who were having us do it, and they were very particular with us. They had lots of instructions, and they had come in and given us very clear things of what they wanted and what they didn't want, which is pretty funny. They definitely thought we were more of a chorus than an a cappella group, but, you know, it was still a lot of fun, and we only performed 4 songs that time, so it was much more manageable.
Yeah. After the one that we had done the spring of my freshman year, because we had done a bunch of, like, pop songs, as a cappella groups do, combined with some, like, which we can get into later, but like a couple Jewish songs, a couple songs in Hebrew, a couple like older but yet recognizable songs, and then a couple like newer songs, so we can mix everything up. They were like, for this performance, we want you to go like classic oldies. That was the vibe they wanted, which is why we ended up doing All You Need Is Love and Sweet Caroline, as they were a good contrast to each other, that they were both upbeat but had like different messages, and just like overall good feelings. And we also did Hey Jude. That was really fun. And what was our last one? I'm now forgetting. Our last song. Oh, yeah. And then we sang one Hebrew song, Hatikva, which is the Israel national anthem, I believe, right?
I think so.
Great. Okay, cool.
I don't know. I mean, it's been years since I was in Jew school, but I think we did learn that at some point.
It was fun. We did like actually like a cool arrangement of it, which was kind of nice too. So it wasn't just like singing it. We got to like put our own little spin on it, but again, the audience liked it because they almost all of them, I think, would recognize it. So it was a nice way to like integrate ourselves with them.
That's so cool. I know with gigs like that, it's always this mix of like really intimate and awesome because you can like look people in the eye and they're really enjoying it and you can fill up the room with your sound, but also it's like slightly awkward, but it's a fun. Usually it ends up being more fun and like an intimate, cool performance atmosphere than it is awkward. Just the walking in part for me is always the like, we're in someone's house, all right. But then the singing is just the fun part, as it always usually is. I will say, I remember when you guys performed at Acapalooza last year, 2019, because it was the first time I had ever heard Dancing in the Moonlight, like at all, ever. And I was like, this is a good song. And then I looked it up, and then I downloaded it. So there you go. You guys, you affected my life.
Aww.
It was good. It was a great arrangement, too. It was very cute. I like it.
Yeah, I like that song.
Acapalooza is great. It's one of those things, one of those big performances that UCLA does, and just having something like that, having any large goal, kind of propels an acapella group, really gets everything going into gear. I can only imagine the amount of prep that went into creating a 10-song piece for these ladies, and it's incredible how the gigs kind of like the more gigs you do, like the rapport of the group kind of like grows. Or is the rapport the right word?
I think so.
Yeah,
The attitude, maybe?
Yeah. It's like the idea of the rapport of the group, but also like
The familial atmosphere gets stronger.
yes, thank you. Thank you for the
You've
save.
been through a lot.
But also the way that how I think it's also crazy how like one gig eventually like leads to another gig, and how that kind of like expands like as a process of just like leading to cooler and cooler stuff.
For sure. I know that when we were a really young a cappella group, our main performances were at a retirement home and at a hospital. And those were the only two places we ever performed, which was really rewarding and really fun, but definitely a very different vibe from, say, like Acapalooza or the ICCA. So it was like a big jump going to those. But definitely we wouldn't have been as prepared for those if we hadn't done those performances, like standing in front of a bunch of like people who maybe didn't know these pop songs and were still kind of like vibing with us. It was kind of an interesting time, but it was an important time. I guess that's great to hear about like what you guys do in a normal year. Do you guys ever just like hang out with each other? And if so, what do you do?
Yeah, we'd love to hear a little bit more about the social aspect of Jukebox and what you guys do to grow together as a group.
I think a lot of us are close outside of the group, like because of the group, but we spend time together, like not within the terms of the group. Like I know me and Lucy see each other pretty frequently. But we definitely do things as a group a lot. Like I remember we did a karaoke night at a karaoke place in Sawtell. And that was a lot of fun. We all went together and we all got to sing together, and it was just amazing. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that. And we've done a couple of calls in the past couple months where we just catch up and talk to each other, because I think we all really do like each other a lot.
Yeah, exactly what Ben said. I remember, I think, because when it was my freshman year and I just joined, the people who were in the group before me were all mostly second and third years at that point, with like maybe one senior. Actually, I'm not even sure. Yeah, we had one senior graduate this year, but everyone else was second and third years. So a lot of them were still on the Hill before they went to the apartments too. So a lot of them were like roommates or just spent a lot of time at Hillel like as well, which kind of rhymed. So like I feel like I'd always run into them if I went to Hillel or I went to Shabbat, and then we'd also perform at Shabbat. So it's like we would all go and perform, and then we'd all just eat dinner together, which is always super fun. It's definitely I think different when you are like working towards a goal of like a performance versus just hanging out, which is why I think like the karaoke night was really nice, because that was actually right after our like super big performance this fall for the women's event at the Beverly Hills Hotel. So like we did that event, we'd spent all day waiting for it, and then afterwards we got to just like breathe, and then we got to go sing some more, which was a great time. And also it's a different type of singing, as we all know. It's like what was it? Two of our members did the cutest duet, like Disney duet. I think it was either like Part of Your World or, oh no, Love is an Open Door. It was Love is an Open Door from Frozen. It was adorable. I'm pretty sure I have a video somewhere. And like, it's just those little things that like, it's a safe space. And I think that's always what we've tried to strive for. And I think it is what we have. And I'm really grateful for that.
Do you want us to explain a little bit about like what Shabbat is?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Like Shabbat is like the weekly Jewish holiday that happens like Friday night to Saturday night, and Hillel does a dinner every Friday night for Shabbat for all students if you want to go ever, free food. And it's really nice, and we perform there pretty much whenever we would like to. We ask and they let us perform there. So that's where a lot of our performance opportunities come from, is like around other Jewish students who really want to hear us sing.
That's super cool. That's so nice that you guys have that tie to like another organization. I feel like a lot of a cappella groups are kind of an island. So it's cool that you guys have these like this kind of reach to like a greater community than just the a cappella community. And that's really cool. This is kind of a non sequitur then, but in the course of your time in the group from the beginning when you first joined, which I realize Ben is like this year, but you know, just think back to last year, the beginning of the year, and then Lucie to when you joined the group. What are your guys' favorite covers that you've done, or favorite songs in general? Just like that one song where you heard it and you were like, I like this one. This is my vibe.
I guess I could start because I have a couple more.
Yeah.
Ben.
Don't worry about it, Ben. I'm in the same boat.
I'm really upset actually
Fresh
though because I'm gonna forget it, but it was a Hebrew name, which we did it again this year, and now I'm gonna forget. So
Hine Ba Shalom.
we did that one. We did a song called Hine Ba Shalom, and that was really fun. This is really weird high solo at the end that I had to try to do, which sounded kind of squeaky, but I did it, so I'm happy that I did it. It wasn't that one. It was a different song. But I'd say I have two highlights probably where, so like, I don't know how much your audience knows about like Jewish music, but in my opinion, Jewish culture is very much tied to music, at least like even in the more religious aspects, but like as I'm not very religious, my relationship with Judaism is very much through music. I went to like Jewish camps as a kid and we'd always have like sing-along sessions, and those songs really defined my childhood. And coming to UCLA and participating in Jewish activities, a lot of those songs like came back to me and I was like, oh my God, like I love these songs. I grew up listening to these songs. And one thing that my mom and I used to listen to is this really cool jazz album interpretation of Jewish songs. And so there's this one Hanukkah song called Sevivon, and there's an album by this guy, Kenny, I forget his exact name, but he makes...
The first thing I thought of was Kenny G, but I'm guessing that's not...
It's Kenny something, I'm pretty sure.
Not Kenny G.
But it's the coolest song, and me and the President Jess, we co-arranged like his jazz version into our jazz Sevivon a cappella version. So I really enjoyed that personally because that's a song that I love, and then we got to sing it, and it's just like a cool song, and it's jazzy and it has like a good groove to it. So like even with a beatboxer or without a beatboxer, it still just has like a good like moving quality, which I loved. And then my second favorite probably would have to be, which I know is kind of like annoying to be like, it's my song, but I did a really cool solo last spring where we did I See Fire by Ed Sheeran, which I've never heard the song, but after learning it, I was like, this is a beautiful song, and we did a really cool rendition of it. And that was just like a really great opportunity. Personally, like I liked the experience of where I had been in choirs before, but I hadn't really done a solo position yet, and so this was a nice chance, one, for me to step out of my comfort zone and take on like a solo part in a song. And it was a song I really liked. It was also very vocally challenging. It's a really high register because he sings like in that upper tenor, so I have to like take it up the octave, so it would get really high. And so that was really fun because I got to work on like my breath control and my vowels and making sure I stayed in the right key. So I'm really happy that I got that opportunity to have that experience. So those are my memories.
Awesome. I would love to hear jazz Sevivon. I can't even conceptualize it in my head right now.
We can send you a recording. It's really
Thank
good.
you. I'll appreciate that.
I See Fire it's such an interesting song out of like the Ed Sheeran repertoire, but I'm thinking about, I think it came out with the Hobbit movie.
It did. I remember that.
It's the Hobbit song. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Now yeah.
I just looked up the Sevivon thing. So his name's Kenny Ellis, and the album is called Hanukkah Swings, which I think is so cute.
Swings. That's so cool.
Good.
I'm gonna stream the whole thing later.
Yeah, I definitely...
It's really good.
I agree with what Lucie said about Jewish music. It's definitely a huge part of the culture and the identity, and there are even classes about it at UCLA, which I've seen advertised to me. I think my favorite song that we did, I only had a handful to pick from, but I really liked the arrangement of Hey Jude. I think, Lucie, were you the one who arranged that? Yeah, she was.
I did.
I really loved that arrangement. It was really nice. Just the whole thing was so well done, and I got to be a bass for that song, and there were some really low notes that I don't know if I hit them, but it was fun to try to.
Relatable.
So that was really just a fun experience, and yeah, it was nice. Like a lot of it was in unison, so it was cool to like have that powerful all of our voices together. So it was a really nice experience.
There's the film called I'm in a film mood, I guess, today. But there was the film, I believe it was called Yesterday. It's the movie where the guy goes back in time, and it's all the Beatles music. He releases all the Beatles music, but he's in a world where like the Beatles never existed, but he remembers the Beatles, and so he releases all their music. Oh, I know why I'm on this track. Because we were talking about Ed Sheeran earlier. There's the one scene where he's talking about Hey Jude, and he apparently in this world it's a collaboration with Ed Sheeran or something. And he's like, I think you should change it to like Hey Dude. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought that was so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, the movie was
I haven't
great.
seen
It was
it.
a good movie.
I still have
I really liked it. I wasn't expecting to. I was expecting it to be like really cheesy, but I liked it a lot. I guess this is a movie review podcast now.
There's a couple other there's like the random
check
other
it
things
out.
that people forget too, because this isn't just the Beatles. So I'm not gonna spoil them because they're really funny. Shh, wait, I don't want to spoil it.
It's okay. I have forgotten the spoilers, and I will now watch the movie with a clean slate.
I will just go back over to like where you were talking about it in the recording and just take my own voice and go, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. And it will be fine.
Or just take
Or just cut it,
the
which would
ad
make
from
a-
last week.
Oh yeah, the ad.
The beep beep beep, and just put it over the.
Excellent. Yep.
Anyway, that brings us to our final question, Tony. If you wanna do that.
Yeah, sure. So this is kind of just like looking back at your experience with people in the group of Jukebox and Jukebox Hangouts and Jukebox songs. Just if you could share with us some of your favorite a cappella moments. Just your moments of being with people in the group. This can be social, this can be musical, this can be at rehearsal, this can be at a gig. Anything that just like makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. We would love to hear about it.
I have one that comes to mind pretty instantly. When we were doing the gig for the Jewish Women's Organization, we had a really nice woman come in to coach us, and she was the one who had all of her demands and the things she didn't want and the things she did want. And she was very classic Jewish mother. She reminded me of my Jewish mother, and it was very funny. But she was no nonsense. She just came in and told us exactly what she wanted. And I think the second or third time she came in, she says, I had a dream about the boy with the dimples. Meaning me, and I don't have dimples, by the way. She goes, I had a dream about the boy with the dimples. When you're singing All You Need Is Love, he has to do an air trombone. And she was adamant about this. And she insisted, and I was forced to do an air trombone, which I loved. But, yeah, so I had to do an air trombone like this.
Jessica, you play trombone though, right? Or trumpet?
Trumpet. I think there's one back there.
Well, I'm sure I did a horrible job.
There.
So I had to go like, all you need is love. Ba, 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 na, na.
Yeah. I was like, is it that part? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it is that part. So yeah, this woman had a dream about me with dimples in the dream, apparently, playing an air trombone, and that image sticks with me a lot.
Maybe the dimples were like the impression of like the embouchure of a trombone.
Ooh, I haven't thought about that
would do
before.
it.
Perhaps.
Sure.
I don't know how to do
Yeah.
it.
But sure.
I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Mean Girls musical at all, but they just use the word embouchure in the song about like the various groups at their like high school to refer to like how music kids are notoriously kind of slutty, and they're like embouchure, and I was like, okay.
Whenever, yeah, I haven't seen that musical, but I've heard a couple songs from it, and I would like to see that musical. Let's just say that. I love the
I've
musical.
listened to the. I am contractually obligated to know about that musical for the fact that I am a musical theater BA. If you couldn't tell about the yes,
TBA.
to be announced eventually.
So exciting.
To be announced.
Probably 20 and
Theater
23
BA.
will be the announcement, because that would be when I get my diploma. But yeah, yes, excellent pull. I am a theater kid, if you couldn't tell by the everything about me.
Expanding it, yeah. If you want to talk about theater at all, too, Ben, that's also love. Ben,
yeah.
we participated in Hooligan Theater Company together this last winter and beginning of spring, sort of.
Yeah,
so
there were four
that's
of
also
us.
the fun thing.
There were 4 of us from Jukebox in Hooligan, one of Hooligan's shows.
Oh, what
Yeah.
show?
9 to 5.
I was
You guys know
co-vocal
Karina
directing it.
Moriarty?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I love Karina.
She was in my German class.
I co-vocal directed with Jaya Mapleton, if you know who she is. Amazing person, love her, just graduated, miss you, Jaya. And then Glynis McNamara was our musical director. Love her to death. Shout out to Glynis, best music director.
I love her.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she is the coolest person. Oh, Glynis, if you're listening, which
I'll
you're
be like,
probably not,
"Glynis,
but
you
if
got
you are,
mentioned."
Well,
I'll send you the link.
Yeah,
I'll
send her
send
the
you
link.
Glynis.
Send her the link. Send her the timestamp.
Just the coolest. But yeah, we are all theater people at heart. That is That is how it just rolls, I feel like, in the a cappella world.
Fortunately or unfortunately, yes. Last tangential conversation. I'd like to bring.
Dental.
Words are hard, okay? I'm not the linguistics major here.
Me either. Wait.
I don't think any of us are.
I think
on the subject of fake brass instruments, Jess has gotten a fantastic trumpet sound.
Oh, thank you.
You do, and I think the first song we learned in Pitch Please was the first song. Love Never Felt So Good. That was the.
Yeah, because we taught you guys that at callbacks.
You did teach us. Yeah, we got it taught at callbacks.
We taught you our most difficult song at callbacks.
Excellent choice, by the way. It also makes for a great podcast intro.
It does.
It does. Say that. But yeah, Jess does a mouth trumpet in that, and it's you know. It's
usually at the very end of these episodes. Sometimes,
depending
on timing.
Yeah.
It's a fun little jam.
Little ditty, little all that stuff, and you can find
little musical doodle.
Well, Lucy, do you want to share your favorite a cappella moment?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I'd love to. To be honest, I actually forgot about the dimple moment, but I remembered the air trombone, so thank you, Ben, for reminding me about that. Overall, that experience was something. Ronnie was her name. What a woman. So, great interact with her. Personally, I don't think if I have a specific moment per se. I think overall, for me at least, because I'm coming at it from a very musical perspective, it's really, I love every time a song on paper becomes something that like you can perform and you can listen to. There's just that moment where it clicks, and it's also very rewarding when you like arrange a song and have a vision and then it like comes out. So I like Ben when he was talking about Hey Jude, that song I was like, I want to really like kind of make it a little more modern, and I want like cool A and B sections. And like kind of the moment it came together, I was like, this is so wonderful, and I love this feeling. And it kind of reminded me again, like, why I had slaved over it week 0 for so many hours, and it was a nice feeling kind of to see it all come together. I think the only other moment I would say, just to not to go too much, would be another concert we didn't mention too much, but we actually performed this really cool Hanukkah concert winter of my freshman year. It was like our first big concert before Acapalooza for at the Wilshire Boulevard Temple, which is this beautiful old synagogue where it's just like gigantic, like big dome, beautiful mosaics everywhere. And we performed actually with a guy who's in Biharm. It was like a UCLA theater like collaboration where they were like telling Hanukkah stories to children, and then we did like musical interludes. So gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but I should know his name. He musical directed Little Shop of Horrors with Colorbox Theaters.
I saw that. That was so good.
He's in Biharm. I know who he is, and I should know who he is. I've met him before. Amazing guy. Love Biharm. Shout out to them. But it was really cool because Fred Savage, who played the kid in The Princess Bride, was like there performing. And it was just like, I didn't really know who this guy was, but then afterwards I like told my parents, and they were like, Fred Savage was there? I was like, yes. And they're like, that's so cool. And I was like, yay. And that was a really wonderful experience because it was like, again, us really connecting to a community that like, that's the kind of the fun thing about being a slightly denominational group while we aren't denominational in a way, where it's like we have connections to a community that like, even though we don't like explicitly go like I'm Jewish and you're Jewish, we can like share a space together, and there's just this general like vibe of love and celebration and through music and life and everything. And it was just a great moment, and I think that was a good way to start off my freshman year.
That's awesome. That's so cool that you guys have these events just like around LA, because I think a lot of groups like perform around UCLA for sure, but just like in the actual outside world,
the Los Angeles area,
the Los Angeles metropolitan area. It's so cool that you guys actually like get out there and do stuff in other places and spread the joy and the music and the good vibrations, as they say in that one boy band, I think.
Oh, Beach Boys. And
that one.
The good vibration. Love that song.
I blanked, but thank you for filling that blank for me.
No problem.
All right, Tony.
Great. Well, on the subject of music and a cappella, which is a transition I could use anywhere in this podcast, I think we should move on to our next segment, don't you?
I do.
Awesome. Well, everyone, welcome to Music Notes. This is the part of our show where we take a look back at a past performance of your group and talk a little bit about the preparation that went into it, how it felt to perform live, and what it feels like to look back at it now. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Jukebox's cover of Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, with soloist Lena Sivany, which they performed at their joint winter concert with Shabatones from UPenn. Let's check it out. Incredible. So the song is always a good time. You can't not play Sweet Caroline and not have a good time. Well, I mean, yeah, I personally...
You can't play Sweet Caroline and not jam.
Yeah, it's a song that just, it requires, it demands the vibe. Demands...
It demands good vibrations.
It demands good vibrations.
I can't listen to it without singing my own part. It's just a problem. It's just like, I want to sing the tune.
That's the acapella curse right there.
You hear...
It's also a blessing, but...
I can't hear the song, I can't hear, like, the original version of God is a Woman anymore, because I just imagine our arrangement of it, and it's like, no, this is wrong, but it's... What? Anyway. Ben, is that you with...
I sometimes try to sing along.
I was going to say, Ben, is that you with super short hair?
That is me with super short hair, which is not the case anymore. That was on like January 8th, and my last haircut was on January 4th.
Whoa.
So you're seeing the full process.
That was Ben from the before times.
That was Ben from the before times.
I don't even remember him. He was so young.
So reckless.
Look at that with short hair.
It's okay. I am also on the quarantine growth. You can't tell because this is a radio podcast. But my
Tony and I have just been watching.
We're all showing each other our hair. Here's our hair. Oh
yeah, mine is, I would say, 12 feet.
Yes, we are. For those of you listening in, we all have Rapunzel hair. And
it's all blonde too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, me and Ben.
Yeah, we're all blonde, and our hair is all like 20 feet long and braided with flowers.
And I have like a matching beard to go with it.
Cute.
And it's a dope beard.
It is a very dope beard. Anyway.
Tony and I have just been watching each other's hair on our heads like grow for like 16 weeks.
It's gotten...
That's... When we started this podcast, I still had a bob. And now my hair is 20 feet long. What?
To make a time lapse.
If you guys would feel so inclined, why don't you guys go ahead and share your first responses, just listening back and getting to look upon that footage and hear your lovely sound.
I like the song. Again, I'm biased. I don't want to plug myself, but I did arrange that one as well. So I have a personal love for it. I remember when I was doing it and I didn't know what vowels I wanted to put where, which I feel like is the struggle of acapella arrangers. What cheesy vowel should I make the backgrounds do? And I did the do's, and I think I shared it with a friend of mine, and they were like, why are there so many do's? And I'm like, you'll see it when it works. I promise it will work. And I think it worked out. And Lena Sivany, a beautiful voice. Again, musical theater person, love her to death. She really brought so much like warmth and like just love to the song also. So I love hearing her sing it. And power, yes. Like that song requires some power, and she really got up there. And I think she was always like a little like, if I can do this, I'm like, you can do it. Get it done, girl. So it's so much fun seeing her do that. Like over and over again. I can watch it forever.
Yeah, that's so impressive. Those high notes were like legit, and they sounded like belting. Like it was like
Yeah, she's very good. Yeah, I remember we hadn't rehearsed in a long time because we had just gotten back from winter break. So I think we rehearsed once that day right before the concert. So it was pretty exciting. It was quite a rush. No, but Sweet Caroline was a really good one. We had it. That was one of the first songs that we had like down. Like we were good with that one, and that was nice to just have that one always ready to perform. And it was just really fun and really. It's fun to do like the ba 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 with everyone. We would always just have fun. And yeah, audiences really liked that one. I know that when we did it at the Beverly Hills Hotel, we had to do the last chorus like 4 times because they just really wanted to keep singing. But then we tried to do that with like student audiences, and they were just like, why is this going on for so long?
You gotta throw a key change in there. Do it a half step higher every
pull a
single
Disney
time.
and modulate for emotional significance.
Absolutely.
I thought about that. I definitely thought about that, but I was like,
You could do it as part of your vocal warm-ups, is you just keep doing it, but like one step higher.
And
That
for the
could be really
transition
fun.
between the sections, you have to add an
Yeah.
The only thing I would say if we were ever to go back and do it again is, I don't know why, but I didn't grow up doing the like, so good, like that call and response.
You probably
And
saw me
everyone-
like mouthing that during.
And that's something that I think we definitely could have added. I think I like that like the audience could kind of do that. But that's also the fun thing about this then is that, you know, it's one of these songs where people like really know it really well. So either this version was slightly different than what they're used to, either like with the harmonics or like the form, or they knew it and could sing along. So it's like it was a kind of both interactive and non-interactive experience. As Ben said, like the Jewish older person audience was like, yeah, I'm involved. The students were like, yeah, cool. Love the song. So
Yeah.
you can definitely generational difference, but also everyone enjoys it.
Well,
so
it's the
good.
classic
Like,
Jewish
you
fun
can-
fact. It's like, oh, Sweet Caroline was written by a Jew. Yes, and everyone loves it.
It makes me think of that one. Did you guys ever see the movie Keeping Up with the Steins?
I've heard of it. I have not seen
I
it.
don't think so.
It's a kind of raunchy comedy about these families competing to see who can throw the better bar mitzvah. But the
Yes, I
point of
have.
the you've seen this movie?
Yes, a long time
All
ago.
right. I'm talking about the ending scene where one family finally, spoilers, one family finally wins out because they get Neil Diamond. And everyone's like, "You got Neil Diamond?" He's kind of a big deal in the Jewish community. He's kind of icons. We love them.
Barbara.
Oh, Babs.
Barb. Yes.
Oh man.
But yeah, exciting
That's
times.
awesome.
All right. Well, we have a game for you all to play, but before we can get into that, we would like to thank our sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by The Moon. It's not just a phase, Mom. It's a waning gibbous.
And by Riff Raff River Rafting. Finally, river rafting for us riff raff.
Huh, sounds like a theater warm-up. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock.
In a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock.
To go riff raff river rafting with the joyous Jessica Block.
And record a weekly podcast with your good pal Tony Voss.
Ah, sorry, Jess, but that doesn't rhyme. Hashtag canceled. Guess it's time for Jessica's over block party?
Oh damn. That was too good for me to be sad about it. Should we play the game now?
Absolutely. Well, the game that we have prepared for you all is called Jukebox Jumble. We have played a variation of this with Scattertones. The variation meaning we changed the name to better fit our audience.
So the way this game works is you guys are a team. You're working together, and you'll have 10 seconds, which you will see me counting down, because now I'm Jessica Clock, apparently. But anyway, you guys will have 10 seconds to think of a song that starts with a specific letter, which we will determine using a dice roll, and a specific genre, which we will also determine using a separate dice roll. And basically, once you have thought of said song that starts with said letter and is in said genre, you must sing it before those 10 seconds run out. And if you can think of more than one, like sing more than one during those 10 seconds, we just need a little snippet from each song that you think of to, I guess, prove that you know the song. I don't really know, but it's more fun with singing involved. That's kind of why we do it. And the goal is just rack up as many points as possible. So, yeah, that's pretty much the game. I anticipate you guys are going to kill it.
You guys are going to do great. I have my nerd dice here. I have a D6, or a dice for normal people, and a D20, which we will be using in order to pick out the letters. Yes, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. This only has 20 sides. We have removed the hardest ones we could find. Just for you.
No X, luckily.
There is no X. Could you imagine?
I
if
can't
we just
even...
put X.
I can only think of a lyric that's X. And no, wait, no, I can't even. Yeah, nope.
Well, if we are ready, we have you two will be working as a team together. This to rack up as many points as possible. You guys will have the 10 seconds to figure it out. Let us roll the dice, and we'll see if I can get some of that good dice ASMR.
And the genre.
The genre is 6, which I believe is dealer's or not dealer's choice, player's choice.
Player's choice.
Anyway, so the genres are as follows, as according to most a cappella groups like to put in their bios. Most people like to say that they do a combination of rock, pop, jazz, R&B, and some musical theater.
What do you want to do, Lucy?
You have your choice out of those 5 categories.
I have things with O in like the second word, but do they have to start with the letter O?
Just start with the letter O.
My strongest ones are going to be rock and musical theater.
I could go for musical theater probably.
So what will the letter be, Tony?
What will the letter be? I rolled the wrong dice.
It wouldn't.
Oh, it's a 14.
That would be letter O. You guys have 10 seconds. Musical theater, letter O, and your time starts now.
On my own, pretending he's beside me.
That's a point.
What else?
This is hard, not gonna lie.
And
Knowing
that is 10
I'm
seconds.
on the street where you live. On the
That
street
made it. You made it before I was done counting down. That is 2 points.
That's 2
I'm going to
points.
wait that down or I will forget.
You said you were gonna be bad.
There's still time.
That was 10 seconds. You made it. You did it. You
Zero
made
or
2
O,
songs.
as
There you go. The only one I could think of was Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
That was weird. Oh, it's so weird.
All right. I
is a
shall
weird
roll
one.
the dice now. I'm going to attempt a different surface, maybe.
Start with the genre.
Start with the genre? Okay, I'll start with the
Yeah.
genre. Our genre is 3, which I believe
Which would be jazz.
is jazz.
Can that be like a loose definition?
As long as it's good enough for jazz.
If it's good enough for jazz, it's good enough. Good enough for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the letter is 10.
10 would be K.
All
Jazz
right,
songs
you
that
have
start with a
10
K.
seconds to think of as many jazz songs that start with K, starting.
It has to start with K. It can't have like a K in the title.
Gosh.
Yes, starting with K. I can think of only one. But anyway, 10 seconds starting now.
I think I'm gonna do a Kiss, because like that's jazzy and it's a K.
As in the Prince song?
I don't know.
And the time is up, unfortunately. But
What were
you
you
got
thinking?
2 points last time, so it made up for
What were
it.
you thinking of?
Going to
Was I
Kansas City, here I come. It's an oldie, but a
But a
goodie.
goodie.
My voice is very raspy today, which kind of lends itself to the genre. So there you go. Shall we do the next / third round? Tony
Yes.
Voss.
We shall do the next / third round. We will be starting off picking songs from another your guys' choice. Rock, pop, jazz, R&B, or musical theater.
What do you want to do, Lucy?
You want to do a pop just to see if we can get any basic things in there?
Sure.
All
Or do you
right.
want to stick with musical
Solid.
theater? Because we can also go back to that. We can do pop. Okay, let's see.
We doing pop? We doing
Yeah.
pop. All right. Pop.
Makes me think of Chicago.
Yeah.
Pop, six, swish,
Swish.
this lip shits.
Yeah. Hey, Jess.
Yeah.
What is 14?
A number. But also, O. All right. Pop song starting with O. 10 seconds starting now.
Oh, only girl. Want you to make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world.
That is a point. And the time is up, but you guys got a point. So that makes the total up to 3.
Oh,
there you go.
Did you say one?
No.
Okay.
It was just not coming to me. I'm very
I don't think I
sorry.
can think of any O pop songs.
Off the top of my head, hold on.
Do you got one?
No. For whatever reason, just thinking the word O is making me think of "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Again, I'm in a movie mood today, apparently.
You know what it made me think of?
What did you think of?
That one Zootopia song that's like, oh, 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 oh.
Oh, Try Everything?
Yeah. The Shakira one, or Gazelle, as they call her
Gazelle.
in the franchise. Or is it Giselle?
No, it's Gazelle.
Gazelle.
Yeah. I kept thinking of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I couldn't get that out of my head. So every time I would think
yeah,
about
once
that
you get
was
one
what
in your head,
happened.
it's really hard to get off of it.
Yeah.
It
I was
really
thinking
is.
there had to be a pop song with Over You or Over Me.
Oh, there is an Over You. If you ask me what I'm doing, or let's see, I'm doing just fine. It's always so much easier outside of.
No, but that's Not Over You. That song's called Not Over You.
Not Over You. Yikes. Yeah.
What?
True.
Even songs exist. That wasn't even an English sentence, but I don't.
I was going to say Love on Top, but that's an L.
Oh, Love on Top. Oh, man. Yeah, I can't think of... Oh, Ocean Eyes.
There we go.
There we go. That took so long. Oh, and Ocean by Khalid. And
Ocean, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost there. All right. Shall we do the fourth round?
We shall do the fourth round.
Thrombus.
All right, so we got 4, which is R&B.
Ooh.
R&B is already
Rhythm and blues.
Rhythm and blues, which is already such a just as a category, as a genre, it's very loose.
It's very.
I feel like
loose.
a lot of pop music has aspects of rhythm and blues these days,
and some jazz does too.
And jazz too. All right.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll give you the best of luck finding an R&B song that starts with the letter that correlates with 3.
That would be the letter C.
All right.
And your time starts now.
What even is R&B? What even is a genre? That is my response.
I know R&B, I just don't know that many songs, so I think the chances of me being able to think of one non-existent.
And the time is up.
We're great at this.
The one I thought of, I don't know why I'm just like, the time's up and here's what I thought of.
No, I want to know. I want to hear.
Yeah.
Is it Call Tyrone?
I don't know that song.
Call Tyrone. I think that's a...
Yeah.
I don't know. It exists. I don't know. But that's the only one I can think of, because the first thing that came into my head was Call Me Maybe, which is not R&B.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make it start with
riffs.
chimes. Kate, I just met you. This is crazy. Yeah. It'd be a stretch.
Here's my number.
Yeah. I got to throw some riffs in there.
Oh, that would be fun. That'd be a fun undertaking. But it is time, alas, for round 5. Tony Voss. What you got?
I'll tell you what I got. And what I got is a 5.
Which would be musical theater.
Which was musical theater. All right. You guys
And
have
the
had some
letter.
success in the past with musical theater.
Yes, this
but
is
will
your
you
guys' thing.
This is the thing. Let's see if you can find success finding a musical theater song. Oh good Lord.
What is not on Tony's desk? His dice.
It is a 6.
Fella. It is a 6, which is the letter F. Musical theater, starting with the letter F, and your time starts now.
Oh, friendship. It's friendship. Just
that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
That's a point.
Oh, dang it! I had one and I lost it.
Darn, I was gonna make this last second really slow so that you can think of it, but you guys got one though. That is a point. Woot,
Friendship Anything
woot,
Goes
indeed.
is also immediately where my mind went with that one.
Which one?
Friendship from Anything Goes.
Oh,
Friendship
yeah,
from
yeah.
Anything Goes. Is the kite song in Mary Poppins Fly a Kite or Let's Go Fly a Kite?
I think it's Let's Go Fly a Kite. I think. What is other?
In hindsight, also, it doesn't really count, but the last song in Company is called Finale. So that's my input.
I think
It starts with an F.
It does start with an F.
What other?
Finale. Anything called Finale. The Finale. I don't know.
Well, then it's a T.
I thought of Defying Gravity, and then I couldn't get that out of my head. That's
Defying. There's a character named Fiyero.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't musical. Does opera count as musical theater? Figaro.
Eat Me from Little Shop of Horrors. That's another one.
That is a good one.
Which one?
Eat Me.
Is that from the
Little Shop of
plant
Horrors.
one?
Plant singing, yeah.
Yeah.
Flower Drum Song.
Is there a song called Flower Drum Song, or is that just the show?
That might just be the show. Footloose. Footloose is both the name of the show and
For Good.
the song. For Good.
Oh,
Classic.
hey, it was one from Wicked. I got
Hey.
it. Not really, whatever.
Hey, you were in the same musical camp, so that checks out. It's all good. You were tangentially there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Let me go grab this, guys.
Oh, where did it go?
It fell behind the desk.
Oh no. Shall we do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th round? Tony Voss?
We shall
sixth
do
and
the
final round? Or are we doing
sixth.
7? 6th and final?
We'll go 6.
We'll go 6. 6th and final round. This is
All
the
right.
big boy. This is
This
the final
the big boy, indeed.
final countdown.
Your total.
That's an F song.
It is.
That is. Oh yeah. All right. So you guys currently have 4 points. This is the 6th and final round. And let's see the genre. Ooh, it is your choice again. Rock, pop, jazz, R&B, musical theater. The only one you haven't been forced to do is rock. But don't let me sway you. Pick the one you're gonna get the most points on.
What do we think, Lucy?
You're doing good in musical theater. You want to get
You
more
do that.
points?
I
You should
think
do good
I'd
in
also
musical
do
theater.
good in rock. I think those two.
I support you doing rock. I'll be here for moral support.
We can try rock.
Gonna
You
try
try it.
rock.
Yes.
All right.
Ben, who going into this was like, oh no, I'd be so terrible at this, now is leading the charge to
Yep.
Jukebox's victory here at Jukebox Jumble. Hopefully we can turn this into a Jukebox Jubilee if you can name as many rock songs as possible, starting with 18.
Which is the letter T. And your 10 seconds starts now.
Tiny Dancer counts as rock.
Yeah,
Hold
sure.
me closer, Tiny Dancer. I think that's all I'm getting.
All right. Well, you got a point, which brings the grand total to 5 points, 6 rounds. That is pretty darn good, you guys. This is a hard game to play, and y'all just went out there and did it.
You did.
So
Can I just say Through the Fire and Flames?
Mm.
That's the one that was on my mind.
Can I just
The
say
final
I know
count-
0 rock songs?
Hey,
The
is
final
the Ring
countdown.
of Fire? The ring. Wait,
Oh, it's the final countdown.
Oh, the final countdown.
Okay.
I know that one. I just
do you have the Ring of Fire, or is it Ring of Fire?
I
think
think it
it's
might
Ring
be
of Fire.
Is that rock?
It's the Ring
say it.
of
I think it's
Fire.
more like country.
Ring of Fire.
I think of
Johnny
it as
Cash.
country, but I don't know. I think
Rock
that is
and
country.
roll
Rock and
with
roll, I guess.
country.
Down, down, down in the burning ring of fire.
Yeah, it's
Did you
the
have
final
Spring Off?
countdown. I double checked myself. Yeah.
Hmm?
The final countdown is the name. It's not final countdown.
Love that. Love that for that. Love that for that. I can't find a less weird way to say that, so I'm just gonna go with love that for that.
That is good. You know. Well, congratulations. You guys ended up pulling a total of 5.
Yes, indeed.
This is always a fun. It's always a fun time to play these games. Thank you for humoring us as you scramble to find some songs that start with particular letters. It's ridiculously difficult in the moment, but if you really have the time to think about it,
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to beat myself up later just about I'll think of a song and be like, oh, why didn't I say that?
It'll be the middle of the night and you're sleeping and you're just you're tossing and turning because you're like, God, rock song that starts with T. And then you'll wake up, it'll be 3 a.m. and you'll just shoot up in your bed in a cold sweat and just say a rock song that starts with T.
Start screaming it.
Yeah.
I've done these games with words versus a letter, and I feel that's definitely
words makes it easier.
Slight easier take on it. That was also with middle school kids, so it was to help them out. But yeah, we love a good song that has baby in it. Yeah. That's the classic. Find a song that has baby or fire in it. Those are the classics.
The song association type game. Yeah, we've done those too. This one we think it adds more layers and it's a little harder, but it's also fun to see just what your brain jumps onto as the first song that starts with that letter.
Well, we are coming up to the end of the podcast. Hate to see it, so sad. Oh, I am going to shed a singular tear, in the Spider-Man in that is that the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? Again, I don't know. I didn't expect movie mood to be a running gag this episode, but it is. Anyway, this we like to give you this portion just to promote yourself, your brand, your group's brand. Shout out anybody you want. This is the time. This is the time to promote. This is the time to shout out. We just offer this up to you for whatever you wish to do with it. Without further ado, go ahead and promote yourselves.
We are on Instagram and Facebook. We have a Facebook page. I think it's just called Jukebox A Cappella. So check that out. We have a couple of videos. Plus the one you guys saw today, we have the other videos from that same concert with the Shabbatones, as well as I think a couple from our spring concert last year and possibly our Hanukkah concert that I mentioned. We do have an Instagram, I believe. I don't know if it is still active.
It's not very active right now, but it will be active in the future.
Yes. So our Instagram is Jukebox Nation. It's not super active right now, but it should be becoming more active as the year starts and we get more activity also to promote it. Hopefully we can create some Instagram stuff for incoming students who want to learn more about us.
Perfect. And I'll link all of that below.
Shout out to everyone in Jukebox.
We love you and miss you. Stay safe. And we want to sing with you soon when it's not going to hurt our health.
And shout out to Ronnie who had the premonition.
Ronnie. Shout out to Ronnie. You're in my dreams every night.
You haunt me, yet I also love you. Thank you for all your wisdom.
Dimple guy.
Well, we would just like to thank both of you for joining us today on today's podcast. It has been an excellent time getting to know about your group, what you guys do, and just getting to know you guys, Might be a little bit illiterate today, but that is okay. It does.
It's been a great time. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
We would also like to thank our agent, Andre Panur, for building the hashtag brand.
Our on-site vocal coach, Trey Kia, for coaching us vocally.
And of course, our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Join us again next week when our guest will be the Spartones from San Jose State University.
This has been Tiger on the Block. Remember to treat those vocal cords right.
Try out that riff you've always wanted to try.
And chug a ton of honey.
So good to me. Don't you know that love never felt so good?
And that's a wrap.